アニゲーミングこうよアニよ楽しい冒険スタートだ
Welcome everyone to Otaku This is Annie Gaming episode 19, my friends, and today we are going to be talking about Dragon Ball Z Extreme Butōden, which came out for the Nintendo 3DS back in 2015. This was a Arc System Works had already earned a strong reputation in the fighting game community through the titles such as Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear, and making them their involvement in the Dragon Ball Z fighting space was really exciting at the time. So Extreme Butōden was positioned as a spiritual successor to the Super Butōden series from the Super Nintendo days, focusing on 2D sprite-based fighting rather than 3D full models that had become the norm in DBZ games. The development team emphasized fast-paced, accessible gameplay that will honor the energy of the Dragon Ball anime. And let's talk a little bit about the story and some modes. So, the Extreme Butoden story took an interesting approach. Rather than simply retelling the events of the DBZ saga, it introduced Z Story, which was an alternative universe retelling where the player's choices could lead to different outcomes. These campaigns include battles from the Saiyan saga up to the Majin Buu saga, and also offered a few what if scenarios, giving players fresh spins on iconic moments. Beyond Z's story, the game included Adventure Mode, which allowed players to explore the world map and undertake missions, recruit characters, and unlock special support fighters. Extreme World Tournament mode offered a more traditional survival challenge. However, some players criticized the limited voice acting and relatively shallow story presentation compared to other Dragon Ball Z titles. And I say to those players out there who are complaining about the voice acting and or lack thereof, it is a handheld 3DS game, and when you see what I'm going to talk about with the gameplay and the graphics, you can understand why the voice acting and just having little voice sprites here and there was kind of it was a sacrifice. Now, as far as the gameplay goes, Extreme Butōden was built for speed and simplicity. Players control one main fighter with up to two assist characters that could be called in mid-battle via the touchscreen to perform attacks or support abilities. Each character had a distinct moveset, super attacks, and ultimate combos executed through easily input combinations rather than intricate joystick motions. The fighting system was designed to be accessible, easy for newcomers, but still offering combo depth for dedicated players. However, competitive fighting game fans found the mechanics somewhat too basic compared to the depth of other games like Blaze Blue. Matches were brisk and flashy with super attacks and ultimate moves replicating the kinetic energy and the over the top destruction that we are known for when it comes to Dragon Ball Z. Balance wise, the game struggled somewhat. Certain characters and assists were clearly stronger than others, leading to repetitive team setups, especially in multiplayer. And as far as graphics and sound goes, one of Extreme Butoden's strongest elements was its gorgeous 2D sprite work. And when I mean gorgeous, just look at it, guys. It is still a sight to behold. It still holds up to this day. One of the best handheld DBZ games I've seen. Yes, it's better than the PSP versions and the PSP entries or the DS entries that we got for Dragon Ball. This is a gorgeous looking game. Characters were lovely animated with smooth frames, colorful effects, and explosive supers that captured the anime's dynamic style better than many full 3D Dragon Ball Z games at the time, to be honest. The backgrounds, while static, were bright and richly detailed, featuring classic DBZ locations such as Namek, the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, and West City. The sound design featured a rousing original soundtrack that borrowed heavily from traditional DBZ musical themes, electric guitars, fast drum lines, and dramatic orchestrations. However, one notable downside was the absence of full Japanese voice acting, which many fans did miss. Instead, characters only shouted or grunted in battle, giving it a slightly muted feel compared to the anime's intensity. But upon release, Dragon Ball Z Extreme Butōden received mixed to positive reviews. Fans praised the sprite work, accessibility, and a sheer love for the source material visible in the character roster and attacks. However, critics and fighting game purists often point out the shallow mechanics, limited modes, and lack of online multiplayer support at launch. A huge omission later patched in with an update. While not a smash hit or a tournament staple like Arc System Works later, Dragon Ball Z Fighter Z, Extreme Butoden remains a beloved cult favorite among handheld fighting game fans and Dragon Ball Z enthusiasts. Is often remembered as a beautiful, breezy fighter that captured the heart of Dragon Ball more than some of its technical superior counterparts. Today, it stands as an interesting midpoint that the last major 2D handheld Dragon Ball Z fighting game before Arc System Works pushed the franchise to new heights with Dragon Ball Fighter Z on consoles, which we will get to later down in Annie Gaming. And this is Justin from otakusageeks.com. What did you think of Dragon Ball Z Extreme Butōden? Comment below, let me know. Did you play this game? Did you like the mechanics? Let's talk about it in the comment section. If you like what we do here, hopefully we earn your subscription. And if we did, please hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the notification bell to stay up to date with everything ONG. Peace, love, and happiness to you all, my friends. Later days.